10 reasons why EV is problematic. Stay tuned because I'm going to tell you why we should ban EV. Well, you know my feelings on EV. I'm going to give you 10 reasons why they're problematic, and I'm going to give you some serious reasons why we should ban it. Reason number one, range anxiety. Worrying about how far you can go when charging it. You know, there's gas stations on every corner. There's not a charging station all over the place. You got to look them up, find a map. They're out of the way. You know, just worrying about it. A guy I knew retired, moved down to Florida from New Jersey. He thought he was doing the right thing, goes and buys a brand new EV. It took him actually a little over 4 days to get down here. By the time he charged and stayed the night, he just immediately sold the car. You guys have seen it. We've driven 1,250 miles overnight with two stops. There's in 7-minute stops, right? Where charging a car, I can see why everybody gets all kinds of anxiety about EV. Reason number two, the charging infrastructure, places, the locations, the cost of. Let's say you go buy a new EV. It's, you know, $6,000+ to put a charging station at your home. It's not like they're telling you that. Plus, you got to pay someone to, you know, do it. It's going to cost. It runs your electrical bill up. So, I mean, that's just a small part of it, right? If you're talking about putting a charger in, the infrastructure, it's hard enough to get locations for any type of business. Now you're going to go try to put in all this power and grid, and the infrastructure is not good. And the places that they're putting them, I believe, is kind of odd. I rarely see them, probably because I'm not looking for them, but the infrastructure is just not there. I mean, and I know that they talk about getting the power and making the power, you know, to supply the charging.
How long do you think it would take to make that happen? I mean, if you were ballparking it.
I don't know. I mean, I met a couple guys that go around and are putting those charging stations in, and that itself takes a little time. They put the ones by us in over at the gym. It took them 1.5 years to put those, like, what is it, 6 or 8 of them that are over there, just to put them in. And then you're going to sit somewhere and charge. Reason number 3, charging time. It takes too long. We're already instant everything. Now we're going to spend more than the 7-8 minutes that we're already irritated to stop at the gas station, and half the time, you know, that's too long. I mean, that's what it is. On average, to fill up your car is 7 minutes. Charging a car, it just takes too long. And then if it's out of your way, it's a problem. Reason number 4, the upfront cost. They're calling it the biggest scam of the modern times, right? Because you go and spend $100,000 on a truck. Oh, you need $6,000 at home, and you think you're doing the right thing to put it in, right? The charging. This guy that they had interviewed that just, you know, had a horrific experience with buying an electrical truck. He had to put it in at work. They talked him into putting both, you know, the electrical at work, charging, and at home. It cost him over $10,000 just to do that. We're not even talking about the cost of the truck it being, you know, 80, 90, 100 grand, whatever they cost. Let's be realistic about the upfront cost. It's one thing you hear the crazy stories and $100,000 electric garbage. But what about the young people? You're gonna go and spend 40, 50,000 bucks, whatever they cost. That just seems like extremely of a lot for upfront. Just the cost in general, just to get started in a car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really feasible. Don't make sense. I mean, if you're trying to save money or be frugal, it's a horrible idea. 5th reason, the longevity of the batteries, just like your cell phone. Say it's a 300-mile range. Year 1. Year 2, what is it? 290, 250? It's not exact science. I don't believe in it. It probably depends on how much you're charging, how much you're not charging. I mean, it's just like any other batteries, right? Why is it important? Because it's not say they're 300-mile range. Well, in a couple years, what's the range? Is it still 300 miles? It's not. And they're not cheap, right? So we already know that part. Reason number 6, there really isn't any variety. It's very limited. They all look kind of the same. Is that what you want? Cookie cutter? Just same stuff? Let's talk a little bit about the variety and making it your own car, right? Because that's what it is. It's a character of you. It's an extension of you. It's freedom, right? All these cars, they're not making They're all the same. They all look like a little generic wedge. You can't make it your own. You can. It'd be extremely, it's not easy, but they all look very similar. We like to go to Cars and Coffee and have a little individuality in your car, whether it's wheels and tires and there's not lots of different performance parts they're making. It's not like they're making a lot of different aftermarket stuff. It's just this plain Jane. They're all the same. Reason number 7, the manufacturing process. They make it sound like it's super clean. I don't know a ton about it, but I know it's not clean. It is bad for the environment. We're doing it overseas. It's limited. Lithium mining it's not good for the environment, right? So that's my understanding. The lithium mining is not good. That's an issue. I mean, I don't know what issue we're solving with the EV, but I feel like we're creating more. You can't solve a problem with another problem. Don't make sense. Reason number 8, energy source. Like, I think at the end of the day, we're using more energy to create these and do it. The lithium, right? The power grid, using the power, charging the cars. You're not even trading off. We're probably using more power, more energy for this EV stuff. Imagine if we don't ban EV in 10 years. And there are quite a bit more. I mean, how much, the power we'll be using. What if there's, 10 times the EV there is now? I just don't. I don't foresee it working. Which leads us to number 9, infrastructure strain. It's putting a strain on, obviously, getting the materials, finding locations, the power grid. Yeah, okay, maybe it works in a real little small area, but what about in a large area where you actually need cars? Because you don't even need them in a little bubble in a city like this. If you're going to be walking around or using public transportation, why even have them? Number 10, one of the bigger problems of it is the resale value of the stuff. You're going to go and spend 60, 70, 80,000, 100,000. It's not proven. There's an electric company, Rivian, they make the trucks, right? They were selling for 115,000 at the auction. This week, there was rows of them there. And I don't know if something went bad fleet-wise. None of them were titled. They were all MSO, which means they haven't even been titled yet. They were all brand new at the auction. And they all sold for 70,000. They're already going, resell, they're not even used. They were selling for 115 a few months ago, and now they're $70,000 at the MSO, brand new. The uncertainty, it's big time uncertainty. You're just throwing money away if you're going to go buy an EV. Yeah, my opinion, I think they should ban EV. Making predictions, maybe 10 years from now it looks like a lot different. I don't think it's going to grow. I think we'll have to get rid of it. Let's just get right to it. Like, they ship cars all the time on the ocean. Big ships, 3,000 cars. It's always in the news. One of the real big ones, EVs caught on fire. There was a bunch of Bentleys and Porsches. Majority of the ship was Bentley and Porsche. You're talking serious inventory, right? The problem with the EVs is when they're burning, one of the biggest reasons we should just ban it, because you can't put the shit out with just water. They got to dig holes. They got to, the fire department, they're burning holes in the ground. It's just melting back into the earth, right? But on the ocean, they can't put it out. What do they use to put fires out on the boats? Water, right? Well, the water's not putting out the batteries burning. They're just exploding and causing more problems. A lot of these boats are, they're just melting holes in them. They're shipping boats or ships. They're, losing all of that. Losing all of the... It's not like putting out a little fire because they can't put them out. We're just causing more problems, and it's not saving anything. That's a problem. I've seen where there's lots of videos. Maybe it's two electric vehicles crash into one another, and it's like fireworks, and it just causes more explosions. Like, you better get away from the car. It's one thing wrecking them. It's another thing the aftermath. The thing's just like bombs going off, and then they can't put them out. It's a problem. Shit melting in the ground. Just that alone. Forget all the nonsense. It's not, in my mind. My opinion is not helping the environment. Think what you want. I don't see it. I don't see it in the future. I think a lot of people are snowed into thinking, oh, it's good for the environment. You're doing a good thing by going and buying one. I think it might just be one of the biggest modern day scams.